Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, New India Insurance pays out $25 million in claims so far and expects figures to exceed that of Hurricane David in 1979. And tourism promoter wants Dominica to capitalize on its Nature Island brand, and DOMLEC maintains a pledge to power the entire country by April. The details coming up. Topping the news, New India Assurance Company has paid out $25 million in insurance claims locally to its policyholders affected by Hurricane Maria. The claims are being handled through the company's local agent, AC Shillingford and Company Limited.
To date, we have paid out about $25 million in claims, and I think there is probably another 25 million more. And we are coping. I mean, the people have to understand we do not have $50 million in a bank in Dominica to pay the claims right away. However, I mean, New India, with their vast resources and reinsurances, they are sending in, every week they're sending in sums to pay off the claims we have received.
The company expects its total payout for claims will likely surpass that of its response to the 1979 Hurricane David.
After Hurricane David, New India was in Dominica was about 25 years before David. And during David, the total premiums we had received for the 25 years, we had surpassed that in claims. The total claims, in fact, came about twice all the premiums we had received in those 25 years. And it's clear that David to now is it's 38 years, and we are clearly going to have as many claims as all the premiums we received since David.
Timothy projects most claims will be settled by the end of February, although he observed the adjusters available are engaged with other insurance companies.
And in fact, a lot of the claims have not even been back to us. I can tell you, with my own company, AC Shillingford, the adjusters have not sent in their reports. And however, the private homeowner claims, most of those, we have got local architects, builders, engineers to go and look at the properties. And we have, from that, we have called in the property owners, and we are agreeing with settlements for them. Most of that, I am doing that myself. The few professionals we have in Dominica, they serve all the insurance companies.
The woman responsible for promoting Dominica as a tourist destination says there's a uniqueness about the island which should be capitalized upon. Barbadian Vicki Chandler addressed the media for the first time on Friday about the Discover Dominica Authority's marketing activities post-Hurricane Maria.
The experience that I bring from a destination which has been doing tourism, I always say, since 1751, and then more seriously from the 1950s, is that I have seen the progression from a situation where Barbados was very much like at the stage where Dominica is when it comes to putting yourself out there. I think what the opportunity for Dominica is you can determine what kind of tourism you want to be. You have taken your time I think, this is my opinion from my observation, in determining who you are and the niche you want to carve out for yourselves. And that is a nature island. And you are known globally for that reason.
Chandler says the country has a brilliant opportunity to boost its tourism industry around the Nature Isle theme.
And this is one of those opportunities where we can look at the uniqueness of this destination and augment it where it needs to be and just keep it chill where it needs to be. I must tell you, for my personal experience, this has been, even as I'm working, one of the most relaxing, serene places I've ever visited. It is almost like a real vacation.
And DOMLEC is sticking to its April 2018 deadline for full coverage, full restoration of electricity across the country. Currently, the crews from the region who came in after Hurricane Maria have returned home, but some of them are expected to return later this year. In spite of the fact that there are fewer hands on the job, the company is confident it will meet its target.
I know everybody wants to have their power, everybody wants power, but like we said, it was a humongous task after Hurricane Maria. We did have some crews from about 7 other islands which were here assisting us with the restoration process. All these crews have returned home just before the holiday. And so it is right now on island. It's just the DOMLEC team that is being, utilized to continue to work in the areas that we started to energize that have not yet been completed. So when we look at places like Goodwill, Canefield, Massac, Castle Comfort, and work also is going on in Wallhouse as well. Poles are being planted, HV lines are being strung, and so we want to continue work in those areas where we have started work to be able to complete those areas and to move on to new areas. We are expecting crews to come in and equipment expected to come in towards the end of the month, and this would surely assist us, in expanding our reach as we continue to restore power to all of Dominica.
DOMLEC says Roseau, Citronelle and Bourbon areas have all been powered up.
The Pottersville area is complete. Most of Lower Goodwill, we are now completing works in Lower Goodwill. Some of Upper Goodwill have been energized, and work is continuing in that area as well. We also went down to Canefield, parts of Mont Daniel, in fact, have been energized, the Canefield Industrial Estate, parts of the River Estate in Canefield, the Canefield Flat. And just before Christmas, we energized the circuit in Maho, Massac, and up to Jimmet, Rodney's Rock area. Also in the north of the island, because we have our crew working down in the north of the island in Portsmouth. Quite a lot of work has been done in Portsmouth. I know, Portsmouth was one of the first areas to have power following Hurricane Maria. And so at this point, all of Glanvilla, all of Grange, and Tatan have been energized. We've also energized the circuit in Savant-Pie and one in Paybush. And so the circuits from our Sugarloaf plant up to Blenheim, that's our HV lines, have been energized. And so we are continuing work in that area. We are also doing some work, the line to the airports. We are about 30 to 40% complete in that area. It's a very long span of land from Sugarloaf all the way to Marigot. We are working feverishly on that because we want, of course, to make sure that we power up the airport as soon as possible. And at present, we are doing some work in Georgetown, in Portsmouth, and also we head into the T-Bay area.
While the company is providing access to power, not everyone is able to take advantage of it because of compromised homes and roofs. Recertification also takes some time, but it's a must.
A number of persons have met me and indicated, I have been to to electrical division so many times to get them to come and certify me, and they have not yet shown up. And so that in itself is hindering the process of those persons being connected, because like we said, until we have that certificate in our hand, we cannot restore power. And so all persons are reminded that they have to be certified. Businesses and homeowners must be certified before power can be restored to their property. And it is mandatory. DOMLEC is not the one who has set that mandate. It has been set by the electrical division for the government, and so we have to comply. So anybody who wants power, that certificate must be in our possession before we can send our crews to do a connection.
Prior to Hurricane Maria, DOMLEC serviced 32,000 customers. In more news now, Calypso lovers will have to wait a little bit longer for the inaugural staging of the 2018 Stardom Calypso tent.
The opening of the tent was scheduled for Saturday, 6th January. However, due to inclement weather, the show was called off. Public Relations Officer of the Stardom tent, Davidson, the Observer Victor, says that the first show for the season will now be carded for Wednesday, 10th January.
The weather pattern for Saturday was that Dominica was under a flood watch. So an excessive amount of rain was expected. So as a result of that, we had to, although we know a lot of rain was expected, but we were still hoping that it would have simmered down. When we realized it was midday around 1 o'clock and it did not simmer down, we decided, well, we cannot go ahead with the show anymore because the show is going to be in the night, and as we were told that rain is going to be up to around 6 o'clock thereabout. So we decided to cancel the show. However, the opening of the show is scheduled for this Wednesday. This is the first night of the Stardom. This Wednesday at the same venue at the Strip, Lale Coco at the Lobby Highway. Price is the same thing, so nothing has changed.
Stardom tent had organized to host 6 shows this Calypso season, and Observer explained that with the cancellation of one tent, management is currently in discussions for a makeup tent later on.
Well, what we will do as time goes by, we will try to have a makeup tent because we had planned the dates for a particular amount of tents, and now that one has been cancelled, we have to find a way to make up. So as the season go about, you know, we will reorganize and revisit our strategy and try to come up with ways to have an additional tent. It may be somewhere outside of town, it may be in town, but whatever come may, we will have to find a way to strategize to be able to have an additional tent to make up.
As regards the weather impacting the staging of other tents, Victor explains that will be determined based on the weather report.
It's going to be very difficult for us to not stage this show every time rain fall, because it's customary that over the years, January has been a rainy month. All right? However, the reason, if we know that there is, for example, an announcement that Dominica is going to be, let's say, under a flood watch or storm watch, we know that this is not usual amount of rain. You understand? Even though it might be plenty rain, but it's not. It's going to be an excessive amount of rain to cause flooding. All right? You understand? That is based on the weather people giving that view. But if it's just ordinary rain, we will not cancel because of that. You understand? Because, I mean, it's just rain, you know? It's just rain, and over the years, we have had shows on the rain, and you know, it's okay.
An over 60-year-old traditional costume band is querying government's decision to host Mass Domlec 2018 in February.
During an interview with the Channel 5 News, manager of the Thunderbirds Carnival band, Emmanuel, expressed his belief that Carnival celebrations should be held later in the year to allow for better preparation by Carnival stakeholders.
It's all right to play Mass 218, but would rather Mass 218 go, the date should have been in May 1, which is Labor Day or Memorial Day, as you call it down here. And it would give us, and I think other bands, a great opportunity to prepare better for Carnival since Maria. What's a little disturbing is we do not understand why DFC would move the Queen show to April and not the traditional parade for Monday and the costume band parade for Tuesday. If the queens have that privilege, or the prospective queens have that privilege, the bands should also have that privilege. And it would be much better, because that would be the first time, I think, since I'm involved in Carnival, and that's a very long time, that we're going to have Carnival without a Carnival queen, without a current Carnival queen.
This year, the Most Creative Band Award is the only prize that will be awarded to the traditional and costume bands. Emmanuel is of the view that since the investment in Carnival has been reduced, the authorities could help a little more with bands on the road.
It's all right. As a matter of fact, I think DFC should also sponsor the music, Well, they have cut down on the prices and only having one price. We can understand that. It's a hard financial year for everybody. If they're going to scale down on the prices, they should take some of that money and put it into music on the road. If you have 4 major bands, you have 5 major bands. Corporate Dominica got a big financial bit in from Maria. So at this point, we haven't had one sponsor responded to us and say, yes, we're going to help you guys for 2018 Carnival. First of all, to put a band on the road for Thunderbirds is about $40,000 and $45,000 annually. That's our expenses. All right. This year we're looking to scale down to about $15,000. So that means that if we were to get sponsored music is the highest single expense for a band. All right, you're talking about, if it's a live band, you're talking about $15,000, $17,000, $18,000. All right, so we could get a hi-fi at a reasonable price. All right, we could then ease up much more on the price of costume. But we're looking at a range, I'll say it only between $80 to $100 a costume. Relatively cheap. We want everybody to enjoy themselves.
Emmanuel says Thunderbirds will be putting out a 6-section band this year, though the theme has had to be changed and the extravagance toned down because of Hurricane Maria.
Thunderbirds have a tradition that the Sunday after Ash Wednesday, we put our band together. We call our executive, we meet and we present the band we're going to dramatize on Carnival Tuesday. But with the storm, we had to scale down. We were going to do the Jewels of Dominica to coincide with the 40th anniversary of independence. So we're going to dramatize Dominica. Very large scale band, but we had to drop that and come up with something quick and much simpler. So we're going to be dramatizing Wicked Maria for Carnival Tuesday, which is 6 sections, very simple. The Rainbow, The Eyes of the Storm, Death and Destruction, and Rebirth. That's what we're going to come out with. You know, the same way we scale down or move away from our production for 2018, the Jewels of Dominica, which incidentally we'll be doing in 2019. All right, we have also scaled on the costumes, which would reflect a decrease in costume price. In as much as all our costumes are built in Dominica, right? We have spoken to our costume builders already, our seamsters and tailors, that we would, because of the storm, because of the financial hardship that was placed on our members, we will be looking for a reduction in price, you know, to have the costumes ready.
And in sports, football coaches around the island have been encouraged to follow the same philosophy in order to see the development of the game. National football coach Rajesh Joseph Lachu told coaches at a seminar over the weekend that in order to succeed both locally and overseas, there needs to be one development path to follow.
The consideration for development a national philosophy, or developing a national philosophy, the people without vision will perish. Because then what will happen? Don will be doing something in Harlem, and it's okay, we're done doing, and then Chicky Boom will be doing something, or by him, Trafalgar will be doing something, and then everything that we do, even if it's different, there is no similarity, no goal. So regardless of what your philosophy with your club is, I share the one that we used with the national team last year, because at least now you have an idea. It doesn't mean you have to do the exact same thing, because in an ideal world, maybe yes, but it is not ideal world. You have different constraints and different things you have to work with, different types of players you have to work with.
Lachu advised coaches to be diligent with their players and made special mention of the youth who can be trained from an early age.
The players are coachable, most of them. But even the ones that might not be coachable, and that's the ones, when we say coachable, refer to follow instructions, remember the instructions, remembering the instructions on their own without you having to remind them. Everybody's still coachable, even if they need a little bit of reminder. The young players here still play, and we're talking about the kids. The kids in Dominica still play. Even you watch and they're playing. And I say that versus the players who or the kids in different countries or first world countries who inside playing video game because outside not safe. And most of their life spent inside, and the only time they practice or play is when they go to academy. So we still have that opportunity in Dominica where the kids then play. The school hours, most of them allow for extracurricular because some schools finish, what, 1 o'clock? So these kids have from 1 to whatever to do. They could still go lessons and they could still play.
To end the news, the headlines again. New India Insurance pays out $25 million in claims so far and expects figures to exceed that of Hurricane David in 1979. Tourism promoter wants Dominica to capitalize on its Nature Island brand. And DOMLEC maintains a pledge to power the entire country by April. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNews8thJanuary2018. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel and on tdnentertainment.net. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.